Welcome to Winning Women's Wednesday.
I think you mean Winning Women's Wednesday.
Okay, it is kind of funny.
It is kind of funny
Okay, let's
because it's
talk
been a
about
while.
it.
It's been a
Yeah.
while. Hey guys, anyone who's watching, take a look at the logo, not only on our cup, but also behind us on the screen. One of our amazing guests, who is way more detailed than the rest of us.
I need to see her disc profile.
I know. We need
Yeah.
to see her disc profile.
Yeah.
Let us know that there are 3 N's. So we are Winning Women's Wednesday.
It's just for emphasis.
It's for emphasis.
I think we roll with it.
I think- I
and
do.
then
I
you know
like
what?
it. It's
We'll never
charming.
have a copyright issue.
We won't. And I just ordered a dozen more of these cups in rose gold. So,
so we're going all in.
We're going in. We're in.
You know what? Rick loves an alliteration. We've got to figure out though, like
What the ends
what's
are.
the ends, and
So
like
we're
we can make
open.
it,
Yeah.
acronym. So maybe our audience can help us out.
So welcome to Winning Women's Wednesday.
Yes,
You're Ashley Gentry,
I am Ashley Gentry,
president of Metrotex.
president of Metrotex, and Michelle Ozimi.
I'm not president of anything.
No, but you're incoming president-elect of
Yes, of
Women's
Women's Council Dallas. Yes, I'm
Yes.
super excited about that.
That's
super
great.
excited about that. And I'm a coach and a broker owner, and you are a broker as well.
Yes, broker owner. Well, I am a practitioner owner. My mother is, queen broker.
Got it.
Yeah, she's queen
Okay,
broker, and
okay.
I'm gonna let her keep that reign
Fair.
because
That's
I
fair.
don't
Yeah.
want it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
'Cause
and
this-
I also fancy myself a chaos coordinator.
You are a chaos coordinator and you are the pickleball queen.
I did. I played pickleball. This
Did
morning.
you? Did you? How was it?
It was great.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, did you play pickleball in Boston?
I did play pickleball
You
in Boston.
did?
Yeah, I have to. It's my thing. So like,
Yeah, no, I get it.
NAR, they all put on like a 5K. Ooh,
And I would have run the 5K.
You would have run the 5K,
Yes.
and then I got people together and we went and found a pickleball place.
Okay, that's awesome. Though.
Yeah, so it was
That's
neat,
fun.
and it's also neat to see the different facilities and how they set them up and stuff like that. So I always try to go when I go to conference.
So, how is pickleball different in Boston?
There's
Besides the pickles are frozen because it's cold
well,
there, right?
because right, you just whack pickles with a paddle. It's because there's so much older, like industrial and everything else in different areas. So the place that we went to was an old industrial park.
so like a warehouse type thing.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it was neat how they had it done. Where we're seeing a lot of the pickleball facilities here that are like anchoring in like old grocery stores and stuff like that. So no, we had a blast.
Awesome.
So it was good stuff.
So, how was the conference?
So yes, I was at NAR, the national conference in Boston. There were
And
about
it was combined with, so I guess I'll let you finish and then explain. It was combined with all kinds of other conferences too, because Women's Council, the big one, was there as well.
so I call them the shadow conferences. They're like running in tandem at the same time, and
Okay.
like you don't know they're going on, but they're going on. So there
Okay.
was like 12,000 of us in attendance.
Anybody need a realtor?
Yeah, it was fantastic from around the country, around the world. I think we had, like 50 other countries represented there too. So there's also all this global programming that's kind of going on
Wow.
at the side. So yeah, there was a lot of stuff going on. We are, our sister organization is the Netherlands, believe it or not.
Wait, what?
Uh-huh.
Explain that.
So I really don't know how we got there, but either
So
way,
Metrotex?
Metrotex and the Netherlands were like this. So if anybody has any desire to learn more about the Dutch, we got you.
Explain that. Like,
So
how-
in an effort, real
I
estate.
need detail.
Yeah. So, there's
It's kinda cool.
It is cool. There's a huge global influence,
Absolutely.
in real estate, whether it's
Yeah.
inbound or outbound.
For sure.
And we got connected and had synergy with the Netherlands. And it's interesting to understand different cultures, the European real estate market and everything else. And they're dealing with a lot of the same stuff, affordability issues, regulatory impacts of cost of developing and different things, rent control. So from that time, an education standpoint too, to kind of understand, and they're doing the same. They want to bring in better policy to affect the housing industry over there in Europe too. So I got to spend some time with them.
Well, so it is interesting. The little bit that I know about European real estate, we are very fortunate here in the U.S.
We are very fortunate. Even though all the lawsuits would tell you that were horrendous, I just had Leo Perea on, who is the CEO of EXP.
Yeah.
He was on our Real Talk broadcast, And, you know, at one point his parents moved to Brazil. And when they came back to the States to come back stateside, it took them like 18 months to sell their house. And he's like, I kind of know what I'm doing.
Wow.
And it just took so long because people they just don't realize that. So we focus on the compensation model, but we don't understand that there's so many ancillary levers that have to be pulled and pushed. Even
Yeah.
if you get it under contract,
Yeah.
which can take a really long runway, it can take 6 months to a year easily to get that thing closed. So
Well, and the cost of housing, looking at, I don't know about the Latin American countries, but in Europe, like it's not common for individuals to own a home. They're
Right.
typically family owned
Correct.
because they pass down through the generations because there's no affordable housing.
Yep.
It's so expensive.
well, and I think they said like the average wage, for the average European native in that area in the Netherlands was like 38,000, but you'd have to have $100,000 to buy a house.
Right.
And so even that, when you kind of think about some areas are getting more affordable, our average wages are still higher than that,
Yeah.
but our price points of that entry level product is about the same. So it was really interesting. We did that. We had a global reception and we won a global award and all of this other stuff. And we're really focused. The outbound stuff and the trade missions are really interesting, but
Yeah.
being in DFW, this is a global metropolitan business
Absolutely.
hub. And so especially we're trying to influence at Metrotex is to really bring in some intuitive inbound global programming.
Yes.
And so that people can understand whether you are working with investors or, whether it's single family rentals or, commercial
relocation.
properties, relocation,
Yeah.
all of those other things, you're probably doing some element of global business on a weekly basis or touching base with global people. And
Yeah.
so we're going to do some more of that, which I think is really interesting.
So how did we get connected to the Netherlands?
I have no idea. Don't make me lie to you. I will.
Okay.
Okay.
That's fair. Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know. So tell me what what are some of the things your takeaways from NAR? Like, what did you learn?
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of it is, there's just I went the day after the election.
How was that? What was flying like?
It was fine.
Okay.
Like it was really smooth going there. Getting back was a whole different story, but
That had nothing to do with the election.
That had nothing to do with the election, but it was kind of like one of those things where you're just walking around going like,
Waiting.
what's going to happen? And then going to a real estate conference with mixed ideology and backgrounds and people all over the country and all over the world. I'm just like, what is this going to be? There was not much conversation about it.
Interesting.
So
Everyone had just moved on.
everyone had
As
kind
we
of,
should.
there were a lot of people that were like, didn't love the outcome.
Sure.
But I'm just glad it's over.
Yeah.
And I'm glad there's certainty.
Yes.
And
we know what we know.
we know what we know. And
Yeah.
so waiting for that other shoe to drop, whether you like it or not,
Right.
at least you have a pathway forward of knowing what you need to accomplish. So
That's
that
fantastic.
was not a big sticky widget like I was thinking it was going to
Right.
be.
Right.
But there were just a lot of conversations. And what I will tell you is I serve on the Leading Edge Advisory Board, which is the think tank that goes to the strat planning to help shape the organization. And so, in those conversations, they were saying, what do we need to do? What's missing out of the strategic plan? What are we doing? I'm like, well, this looks great. I'm like, you did a great job using all these, flowery words and, directing the objectives and the initiatives that we should be doing. But ultimately, just like the realtor community, if nobody listens, if nobody consumes the information, I'm not going to read the strat plan.
Right.
I don't like to read, right?
we know.
Yeah, exactly. So somebody like me, you could have the best strategic plan in the world, but I'm never going to actually take the time to read it because that's not what I do. And so I brought in the conversation of let's not talk the actual political, the politics of who won or who didn't win.
Right.
Let's break down the nuts and bolts of the election and the media that was used to get the messaging out in the Trump campaign specifically.
Sure.
They went heavy into the podcast space,
Yes.
the influencer
Joe Rogan.
space.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, even before that,
Yeah.
he was constantly going out there. JD Vance was going, they were on Theo Vaughn.
Yes.
I mean, and so they really had a concerted effort to, instead of focusing on that kind of middle ground people where they're just not sure where they're going to go,
Right.
vice versa. They really went hot and heavy to the people that would actually probably vote for Trump, but maybe aren't as magnetic voters. And
Yeah.
so really getting them more pumped up. And those were their mediums. And man, did they get I mean, and the views, again, whether you like it or not, data is data.
Right.
And so
right.
that's what
and
I was.
what they accomplished was impressive.
Yes. The impressions of the different streams of media that they used was very effective.
Absolutely.
And so I was using that and bringing it back to, what we were talking about. And I said, all of these things are fantastic, but we are not reaching our consumer, which is our members, and
Right.
then the consumer public with the way that we're doing things. Why aren't we on TikTok? Why aren't we doing more, podcasts? Why aren't we doing more short form video and media and stuff like that? And really getting out there, because we've talked about it plenty of times. The average avatar, is aging down of the realtor that's getting licensed.
Oh my gosh, yes.
It used to be the 45, 50-year-old woman on her third career, retired
Done
teacher,
raising
whatever.
your kids.
Done raising
Yes,
your kids. I'm
absolutely.
gonna get my real estate license, which we still see that. But now, especially in new member orientation, out of 120 people, 100 of them might be under 35 years old.
Which is encouraging, because what that probably means is they're college educated and they're looking to jump into real estate as a true business, as a career.
100%.
And that's so exciting to me.
Well, and that's why I said, so we can have a great strategic plan, but do we know what we're strategizing at this point?
Right. And who are we reaching?
I mean, the realtor organization was developed over 100 years ago. The needs of what that realtor organization needed to embody over 100 years ago is not the same today. Now, that doesn't mean you abandon everything, but we have to evolve with how we're running our business, what the consumer needs, for us to be able to impact to the real estate community, and to help them. And so I'm trying really hard to just kind of have these conversations where I breadcrumb that out a little bit more, and doing stuff like this, and getting the message out there so agents can understand what the realtor organization does to promote their business
Absolutely.
and help incentivize them being successful business owners. But that was my biggest thing. We don't have 1.5, million realtors in the country. We have 1.5 million business owners.
Absolutely. Is that the number now? Is that what we're at?
Yeah, we're
roughly?
plus or minus. I mean,
Okay.
we might be like 1.45. I mean,
Okay.
in the state of Texas, we're 150,000.
It's crazy.
I mean, in our backyard in North Texas, we're 50,000. And so when you really think about that, everybody's having to reshape because of technology and because the approachability of information to the consumer. Real estate is just moving at a much different pace, and we, as the organizations that are supposed to be that indispensable resource to them, need to be moving faster as well.
Absolutely. And as members of the organization, we also need to be taking steps forward in how we conduct our business.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just time.
And it's okay. You don't have to agree. I don't agree with all the attorneys that were coming after the money grab of our industry
For real.
and sitting there and in an effort to create more transparency, created less transparency and inefficiency and friction.
Oh my gosh.
But ultimately, it is what it is.
This is where we are.
This is where we are.
And you can sink or swim.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, Wayne came and did an amazing presentation to our Young Professionals Network, and we had a Legends and Millennials panel, and he was presenting and running all that, and it was great. And he basically was like, "Hey, guess what? We know the new rules to the game.
Yeah.
So if you want to win the game, you don't have to like the rules, but you know them, so you better use them." And that's where we are. And then there was another visual that he used that Justin and I both just loved, and it was a slide, and it said, compose versus oppose. And it was just kind of like that light bulb moment. Like, you can help by composing what your future, what your plan of attack is and
Okay.
everything else
Okay.
with dealing with this new environment, or you can oppose it and say, I don't
that's
like
fine.
it. I don't
Yeah.
like it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do anything else. But which one is actually going on the offense for your business versus playing really scarcity minded defense?
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
I think that as just a individual practitioner, a business owner myself, but then ultimately taking that back to the association level, because there's a lot of finger pointing going on there too.
Right.
That we're not providing our value proposition. We don't have optionality. It's monopolistic and all of these other things. And there is absolutely some truth to all of that. That is not the spirit or the intent of the organization or anything
Agreed.
else. But if that's what a big subsect of the population feels that's going on, well, we need to be a part of composing the different narrative.
And I agree with you on that. But the ones who are opposing, what are you doing to get involved and affect change within the organization?
Yeah, I mean, that was...
And maybe it's not MetroTax. Maybe it's WCR is where you need to be.
Correct.
Or maybe you need to be on just a committee. I mean, there's so many different options to get involved in the real estate industry to affect change in the industry itself, other than just going out and sourcing clients.
Well, and I think the biggest thing, look, I didn't wake up one day and go, oh, my vision board is to be president of MetroTax.
Amen, sister.
That's not, I mean, we get paid
you have a vision
zero.
board?
Zero.
Zero. Do you do vision boards?
Do you think I do vision
No.
boards? Thank
no.
you.
I brought a prop today.
I see that because you're going to, well, it's the one thing
One
on
thing
that.
at a time.
But, you know, as far as that goes, what I did see is that I was the hybrid. You've been in the business a very long time. I came in as a second generation realtor and got licensed at 20 years old. And so I was the hybrid where I got to see the old way of doing business.
Right.
Because that was, you know, in the late 90s, early 2000s. And
Yeah.
so still had fax machines, you know, we still had MLS books. You still had
gosh,
to go
the
to the
books.
brokerage office to get the keys, you know, all of those other things.
We had to go. So I got my license when I was like 30.
Okay.
So a little bit younger than some, older than some.
Yeah,
of the
but we've
newer ones.
had the license about the same
Yeah,
time.
about the same time. And it was when digital cameras first came out.
Yeah.
So our office had one digital camera.
And you had to like check it
Yeah,
out.
because
or,
there was
like,
no one paid for professional photography. That wasn't a
Sure.
thing then.
Yeah.
So yes, you would check out the
digital
camera, and yeah, it was bad.
but that's where you go. It's like, okay, we can remember all of that, and we remember what we were really trained on.
Yeah.
Because technology wasn't there and scalability wasn't the
I had a
same.
BlackBerry.
Yeah, we were talking about that at the conference. Like, oh, we were just like really missed that toggle ball.
Yeah.
You know, a Palm Pilot with the little stylus.
I remember the Palm Pilot.
But those are all the things. And so there was a very different industry and era, and how you
Yes.
were trained and who was getting into the business was very different. And so now you fast forward and here we are today. What I saw for the organization, though, as being a younger but an established realtor, I went, I can be the hybrid between the two.
Yeah.
I can speak the tenured, but I can also talk about the impact of the new.
Yes.
And
I'm excited for the new, even at my age.
No,
I'm excited for the new.
well, because we embrace it and we know what that
Yeah.
means, that because we're business owners.
Yes.
We're entrepreneurs. So for me, that was, I'm going to get involved because if I can help be the conduit to bring all of those things together, then that betters my industry, that betters my community. And in all honesty, the byproduct is I don't get paid to be a volunteer leader, but I get paid in spades with the information and the networking
Absolutely.
and the relationships that I've built. And so it has been amazing. So yeah, if you're going to sit there and gripe and moan and complain and do absolutely nothing, we're probably not going to have a conversation.
No.
But if you want to come to me and say, hey, I don't understand this from my vantage point, it doesn't look right. Can we have a conversation? I'll have a conversation with you. And then two, I'm going to say, hey, you need to get involved.
Absolutely.
In one capacity or other. It's the same thing when people say, like, if you don't vote, don't bitch.
Absolutely.
You know,
Agreed.
and
Agreed.
doesn't matter which way you vote, but just get out there and act and do something.
Have an opinion and do something with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So
What's your prop? What is this sexy prop that you have
it
here?
is sexy. It's my Remarkable. Isn't it so fun?
It is. I have one in my car.
I know you do. And I just wonder, are you ever going to take it out of your car?
Yeah,
It's
I
so
will.
fun.
Have you done things already?
Oh yeah. I have things.
Have you consolidated your 42 binders yet?
I haven't. I'm working on it. I
Okay.
wrote some questions down. Okay, wrote a question down. I'm still figuring it out. So we'll see. Ask me again in like 30 days.
Okay.
Because that's how long I have. No, I have 100 days to keep it and I can get my money back.
Oh, okay.
So I'm really trying to consolidate all of my stuff.
Okay.
The good news is I'm trying to see the bright side of things. Is my computer broke a couple days ago. A pencil got lodged in the hinge and it snapped. And
Why was there a pencil?
it was
near
in my
the
purse.
hinge
It was
of-
in my purse. I don't really take great care of my technology, as you've seen. So it snapped, and I took it to the You Break We Fix place. They're amazing.
Okay.
They're amazing.
Okay.
Maybe
Maybe they should sponsor the show for you.
Yes, You Break We Fix, because I have all the things. But they can't get the part for like 20 days.
So what are you going to do?
Well, right now my computer, if I hold it if it sits a certain way.
I can't
And
with you.
everything. It's actually backed up to a bright green Dutch oven that I use to cook soup in, but it's the only thing heavy enough to hold it the way it's supposed to be held. So I can use it's a desktop for now. So that has made it where I have to like.
Okay.
I'm considering it a blessing.
You're pot committed at this
I
point
am.
to the
I am.
remarkable.
Yes. So I'm committed, and I've written a couple notes. That's it.
I like it. So I love how you make fun of me.
Yes.
Because I won't. I don't like lists. I don't like anything
Oh,
else.
I love lists. I have made lists and all the things. Lists have been fun. Yeah, I do like the lists.
Okay.
It's
But I
fun.
do take care of my technology.
No, I don't. I'm terrible. I am one of those people that if I'm going to have something, I'm going to use it the way I need to use it, and
Yeah.
I'm not going to worry about it. So,
Okay.
like, yes, I love the designer bags and the fancy shoes and all that, but I'm going to wear them. Like,
Yeah. No, I get it.
Yeah.
Use and abuse, man.
yeah, absolutely.
Use and abuse.
Absolutely.
Yeah. No. I think it's great. So yes, now I feel convicted because I'm staring at Remarkable,
Isn't
and I
it
will
pretty?
get it. I will
And,
get it out the bag.
Now mine has, I don't know, did you get all the bells and whistles on yours? I got suckered. I don't know how to work it, but there's a keyboard in here somewhere.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I'll have to get one of those. Maybe you
Yeah.
should buy it for me for Christmas.
I will. I like that.
And you like I was like telling you you're gonna. Hey, I don't. What's going on?
There it is.
Oh,
So yeah. Now someone was really mean to me, my husband, and he
does
said, "Why didn't you just get an iPad?"
but you know what?
It's different.
It is different. But I do have an iPad Pro, so that
do
might
too.
be. So that might be too.
All the tools.
All the tools. But you know what? Here's the thing. Figure out figure out the reps that you're going to do on that. That's really going to get you to utilize that because I think it's great. I think it's absolutely great. And it's great for presentations too.
It's great for presentations. It's great for taking notes and keeping the notes. Like, how many of us have notebooks as realtors from 20 years ago somewhere? Well, you probably don't. But most.
I have one.
You have one? Okay. A lot of us have those with all of our notes. And when we remember so-and-so
Yeah.
that we need their number again, we go find it.
You know what
and-
would drive you insane is if you came to my office and it's really pretty. I have a really pretty backdrop and I have baskets that everything just gets shoved into. And
Okay.
so but there's notepads, but it might be my husband's notepad and I take one set of notes and then like 3 months later I'm like, where's that one sheet of paper and that yellow notepad that I used that wasn't mine?
That's what this will be
I
for.
get it. That's where
Yes.
I was. I was like, okay, I'm going to jot down my notes and then it can email me or it can house there. So I think I am going to like it. You know what? It's the same thing and I never poo-pooed AI like ChatGPT or Claude.
Oh, no, I'd love all
.ai.
that. Oh my gosh.
But
Claude's amazing.
It is amazing.
And it's Claude.
It's Claude.
Isn't it fun to say Claude?
It is. It doesn't sound so robot-y.
No.
You know?
No. I feel like
it's
he's
like
a
Rosie.
hot
It's like
German.
Rosie,
Yeah.
the robot from the Jetsons.
From the
Yeah,
Jetsons.
Rosie. It made it very
Oh,
humanizing.
yes,
So Claude.
yes.
But until I actually put some prompts in there and
Yeah.
figured out how to leverage it, it was just one of those things that felt like the barrier to entry was
Right.
like too much for me to try to learn. And it's the same thing. This is a digital notepad.
Yes.
It is not that difficult
Really not.
to figure it out. I just need to get.
Yeah.
I just need to get used to it.
It's going to be great, like for coaching notes and to save things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
Well-
that's what I'm excited about mostly is after I have my sessions, I'm writing everything down and then I just upload it and save it and I can reference it very quickly.
Yeah,
So,
no, I think that's fantastic. But going back to the conference, some high level stuff or some topics that were going around. Clear cooperation, nothing happened. That still was.
It's still clear. It's still very
still clear that we are unclear as to where we are going with CCP.
Yes.
And so. There were some panels that were quite lively around that.
Okay.
One that was not put on by NAR.
Okay.
So they didn't have control over the speakers. Robert Refkin was there. There were some articles that were
Yes.
written up about that one, if you saw that.
Yes.
He basically was like, Zillow's taking over the world
I did
if you
see
don't
that.
fix this.
There were a lot of articles about that. It went, it was pretty.
You know, and I'm not going to say, he's very passionate, but he's not selling it well.
Yeah,
And
I got that.
And so it didn't go over well. In fact, he got booed. So it's just like,
That's awesome.
Yeah. So it's real interesting. So we don't really have much on that.
Okay.
I think there's a part where there's a new administration that's going to take over
Yeah.
the DOJ.
Yeah.
And so I think there's some
Maybe
also,
they're less angry.
I mean, I definitely think they're probably a little bit more pro real estate, given the president will
the
be
new
a
administration.
Yeah. So I think we're kind of a little bit like let's wait and see what some of that looks like, because there's there's not certainty as to what needs to be done. It's a very
Right.
divided camp of what people think. I mean, most people think it should absolutely stay, but maybe with some refinement.
Yeah.
And I think that's
I don't disagree with that.
yeah, absolutely. So we had that. Big conversations just around MLSs divesting from the association and technology companies and REITs and venture capitalists coming in and
Right.
taking a hold of that. I think we will see more MLSs divest from the association. I don't know as to how much. I mean, RE Colorado is the one that
That's the big
recently
one.
did
Yeah.
it. So we'll see what the appetite for more of that is.
Okay.
And then there is some really interesting technology that people, from a lot of prop tech people that were
Okay.
there that
There's a big like marketplace, right? Like that you can go buy a bunch of stuff.
well, yes and no. I mean, it's
Okay.
just all the big technology bros and companies
Yeah.
and everything. They go there because this is a great opportunity to have all the leaders of the associations and the MLSs,
So for the
strategically in
big
one place.
purchases. Okay.
Yeah, and I
okay.
mean big investments
Yeah.
and acquisitions and stuff like that. So I spent a lot of time with Justin Landon, our CEO, talking to a lot of people in that space, which was really cool.
Yeah.
And not to say that the programming wasn't great at NAR, but because we're the 5th largest association in the country, our programming we bring is pretty high
Pretty
level.
amazing, yeah.
So we really took a lot of our time to just network and take meetings and,
that's
and
awesome.
collaborate with that and really figure out what is the next evolution and iteration of the realtor organization.
What
so a
was
lot
the
of dialogue.
take- Any take on the upcoming market? I mean, I know what I've heard and the things I've read, and I'm very excited. But
DFW is going to be the hottest market
hottest
in 2025.
market. Yes, yes.
I know.
I'm so excited about that.
It
like,
is.
I have the article to post.
Yeah.
Like on Facebook and then on my email newsletter, and I'm like, when do I do this? Like, I'm probably way more excited about posting it than anyone else.
Well, I
will
think
be.
we're like, is there light at the end of the tunnel,
Yes,
God?
there
Are
is
you
light.
like, is 2025 not going to be
This
such
is
a hammer
it.
on the
Oh
forehead?
my gosh. Well, it was Jimmy Burgess that said we'll never go back to the champagne and cocaine days of real estate like in 2021. And I thought that was a funny take.
Oh, it
Because I
was.
wouldn't say they were that great, but okay, I get it. I get what he's saying.
No,
It was a funny comment.
it was for sure.
but
But
I just want normal.
what is normal?
That's a good question.
I
I
don't-
I feel like 2019 was normal. Like just stable. It was a buyer and a seller. Everyone got along. There was no craziness. You would have an occasional
I don't think we can
offer.
I don't think we can put the genie back in the bottle.
That's fair.
I think our
Yeah.
world is a little nuttier since 2019, and I don't know that we're
True.
going to,
That's true.
But I do think what we've seen, I'll go back to the election as well, is that the media controls a lot of the perceived narrative as to what's going
was
on.
So eye opening. Like
Yeah.
if you didn't already recognize that, that was so incredibly eye opening.
Yeah, traditional network media.
As the Republicans won all of the swing states, they weren't so swingy. I mean,
Well, and it was just more of like, I mean, up until even, 11 p.m., whatever else, they're still talking about, she's going to get this state or she's going to get that state. And you're just like, dude, what are you smoking at
Yes.
this point? Because the
And this
data is showing,
Yes, it
the
was the
data,
data.
the data
Yes.
is showing something completely different, but you are going to continue to sit there and say
with
something.
your narrative.
And that right there, that's the dangerous part when there is monopoly effect on
It was
information
truly-
stream.
It was truly eye opening.
Yeah, and so again, and that's why I tell people, I'm like, I'm not talking politics. I'm talking about
no.
consumption of information, distribution of information,
Data.
data points, all of that other stuff.
Who's providing the data and how
But-
accurate is it?
Those are the same people that are also writing about the real estate market.
Yeah.
And the economy and
Absolutely.
interest rates and affordability and all of these other things. And so if that's what's being preached to you all the time, that, it's a horrible real estate
Yeah.
market, duck and cover, protect your loved ones, don't buy a house, don't sell a house, it's awful. Well, yeah, there's a lot of the misinformation and fearful people in our marketplace
For sure.
right now. So I am hopeful that 2025, not only because we have pent-up demand and we have one of the best economic drivers in the state of Texas and in North Texas, but that maybe a shift in the media narrative
Yeah.
on what that looks like. And,
Absolutely.
And getting a little, control under inflation and some other things will hopefully lessen and put a reprieve on interest rates. And then
Just a little drop in interest rate.
just a little drop in interest rates. And then there's a lot of people that are working, very smart people, smarter than you and me, that are trying to figure out how to recalibrate the insurance market as well.
Yeah.
So I think if
That's huge as well, for sure.
with all of our powers combined,
Yes,
we
we
too
can do this.
We can do this and have maybe a better real estate market in 25.
I think it's going to be amazing.
I think it is too.
I'm excited for it.
So it's a lot of stuff.
A lot of stuff. You had
Yeah.
a busy week.
I'm so tired.
So what's next for you?
Just getting through. I mean, can you believe it's halfway through November?
No, I cannot.
Thanksgiving's like in 2 weeks.
I know. It's crazy.
So I think it's now we've got the holiday push of let's light a stick of dynamite and shove it
Yes.
after every
Yes.
mother's rear end.
Yes.
Throw my kid's birthday in there too, a week
Oh,
before Christmas.
perfect.
So
What were you thinking?
I don't know. And then trying to still close out some deals. I mean,
For
still
sure.
I got a closing later today and got other stuff going.
Congratulations.
Yeah, no, it's good. Yeah, it's good. So we really congratulate each other now when there's a closing. You're like, you have a closing? Yes, I have a closing. Ha ha ha.
It's just a rental.
Stop it. You're so awful. Yeah. No, we got those too.
Yeah.
So
Hey, everything is good.
everything is
progress.
good. But I love the new cup. I love that we have triple N. I got to figure out it's triple net. It's a triple net winning. Though it's like commercial.
Okay, that's fair. I
Yeah.
like it. We can triple net win. I like
Yeah,
it.
we can triple net. Yeah, yeah. Rick's like rock on. So, but I love it. I'm happy to be back, and I missed you.
I did miss you.
I know. So we just you know what? It's on camera. Doesn't mean anything because I'll still break it. But let's hold each other accountable and maybe do a couple of fun things together during the holidays.
I'm excited.
Okay. Let's do that.
Besides the Metrotex Gala, because that's going to be fun.
It's going to be fun, but it's also work fun.
It is work fun. And we'll be so cute, though. We're going to be so cute.
no, it's going to be fantastic. So
But yeah, we're going to do a couple things. I'm
okay,
excited.
let's do a
I'm
couple
down.
things and
I'm
we'll
down.
do it. But I don't want to run. I don't run. Okay.
I won't make you run.
Okay,
Okay,
thank
you heard it here first, guys.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Hey,
Next time.
yeah, next time.
Okay.
Winning Women's Wednesday.
We're
Thanks for
out.
being